Assessed value is how we determine the taxes for a property. Now, many towns across America determine taxes a little bit differently, but the general assumption is this, is that they are going to look for, and when I say they, I mean the local municipality is going to look at real estate values in order to determine and balance their budget. For instance, if a town has to balance a budget of $100 million, they look at all of the values that are throughout their municipality in order to determine how they can balance that budget. They determine a mill rate, which is multiplied against each individual property owner's value of their property in order to determine the taxes. Let me give you an example. If a property is determined to be assessed for $100,000 and the mill rate for that area is $30, it is $30 for every $1,000 worth of value. In this case, there are 100 1,000s, and so it's 100 times the $30. And so we realize that we've got $3,000 worth of taxes due every single year for that particular property. Now, there's a couple of things that go into play with this. Number one is, how did they determine the assessed value? Well, they determine the assessed value by estimating what the market value will be for a property. And this is utilized by doing what is called mass appraisal or ad valorem. It is looking at the extent of all of the properties in a particular area and assuming what the value is based upon square footage and age built and many other factors that go into play. These economic factors that go into it all determine what the prices for these houses will be, but many times they're not very accurate. In fact, many times you'll look at a listing that's 1,000 square foot, 3-bedroom, 1.5 bathroom ranch, and they've determined that the assessed value is something, but you realize that the market value is significantly higher. Well, they're assuming an average for many of these listings, that they're all in average condition and all in average location, since they can't go through every single one of these properties on their own. In fact, the only times that these assessors are able to get in is by permission generally from the property owner, which many times property owners resist because they've updated their property and they don't want their assessed value to be updated as well, because as they update the assessed value, especially if it's positive, taxes will likely increase. Now, these can also be increased as homeowners apply for permits, and then these permits end up showcasing to the assessors in the building department how great the property is, and then the property value goes up and they assess that. Now, a few factors should be considered here. Number one is that towns are looking to balance their budget by determining mill rates, and so mill rates may fluctuate as their budgets increase. Their assessments of the values may also increase as they're able to update and do a revaluation of the homes in the area. Now, they may take what they believe to be the market value and try to update that more regularly, especially in recent years as appreciation has grown. This means that assessed values may model after market values, but generally not as much. Here's what I mean. In many towns, a town will consider to do a percentage of what they believe the market value to be, as they know that the distance in between when they reevaluate in the current position and when they reevaluate again may be a disparity of years, and the market may fluctuate. They also realize that their valuations in ad valorem are not very accurate, and so they may need a little bit of room for buffer. And so many towns vote that their assessed values be about 70% of what they believe the market value to be. And in some towns that may fluctuate across the country. And so one of the ways that they do this is they will take the estimated market value, and they will multiply it by 0.7 in order to equal an assessed value. And then what they will do is they will multiply that against the mill rate in order to determine the taxes for a property. In this way, you now can understand assessed values. You are one step closer to confidence and expertise inside of the real estate appraisal world. You know, I don't know if you've been selling real estate for 1 minute or you've been selling it for over a decade. Getting better at valuation is critical to the success of a real estate agent. And here's why. Your buyers are constantly looking at you. Where is this property gonna sell? And you need to speak with confidence about it. Your sellers are asking, I don't wanna undersell. I wanna make sure that I sell at the top dollar. Where do you go from here? How do you truly do that? You know, if you are in the process right now, and maybe this is you, where you're sitting at dining room tables with maybe a CMA toolkit and you're trying to flip through pages as to show properties and what they're worth, guys, you're doing it all wrong. I'm sure you've probably had success, but you could have far more success if you truly know the appraisal process, how to do it, and how to speak with confidence to your clients so that you can say, I know where this property is going to sell. If you're on the buy side, you won't make a mistake. And I know where this property is going to sell if you're on the sell side, and let me get the most amount of money for you. If you're on the fence of purchasing this course, I want you to ask yourself, has it ever been a better time to invest in yourself in a more tumultuous market than right now? I'd love to see you inside the course.